Welcome back to Twilight Coast, where motion holds memory. Sometimes it's not about winning, it's simply continuing. This episode, I took on the circuit of Jerez. If you're new here, don't worry, I'll walk you through it. And if you've been following along, you'll notice I'm finally starting to get comfortable. I had a great position to start the race. I told myself there are sections in this track that I'm slow, so let me mirror the riders in front till I become confident in my abilities. Steady, consistent, and I need to focus on myself and in my bike. During this race, I struggled to remain calm. I was taking many notes, still between listening and adapting. Braking is completely different. Most turns, you want to scrub off your speed before the turn, but braking while turning, that gives you less angle to lean. That was hard to learn. Throughout this video, you'll see that I struggle with that, especially the first few turns. The second half, not so much. I'm able to coast through most of it and bounce back and forth with the riders, but clearly, I just needed to adjust the braking and how early I can brake. Turns 11 and 12, by far my fastest sections. I did, however, have a long lap penalty during my first lap that I had to complete. I came out 7th, but let me work my way back up to the pack. After successfully completing my long lap and being in 7th, knowing that I was faster than most of the riders in certain sections, I just knew as long as I could maintain composure, hit my break points and turns, I'd be okay. I'd be able to make up ground where I needed to, as long as I didn't be overly aggressive with trying to pass and just coast, maintaining my speed. I would have been okay. I do notice, however, throughout this race, turn 5, most of the riders coast through that section. I tend to brake, losing speed, which causes the riders to carry more speed throughout that turn, so I have to pick it back up. Turn 6 is definitely my worst section. I just can't figure out the brake points, how much braking I need to apply to lose enough speed to get through that turn without the other riders catching me. I don't think I truly figured it out during this race, but I was able to mirror the riders in front just enough to get comfortable and adjusted to it. This was an enjoyable race, but definitely took more out of me than previous tracks. I was overturning and constantly fighting the riders in front of me and behind me. They were catching me, and I was struggling to get away from them. Certain sections I felt less confident, and so I just coasted or braked in sections I really shouldn't have. By lap 5, I was starting to figure this track out though. Letting my feelings settle, taking control, pushing harder in sections that other riders weren't pushing harder, but I know that they were pushing in sections I clearly needed to. I'm still figuring it out. The gears, the timing, the balance between push and patience. But every mistake tells a story. And if you're gentle, you'll start to hear what the story's really about. This ride wasn't perfect, but it reminds me of something. You don't have to be perfect to make progress. Sometimes showing up is the lap, and every lap teaches you something. At this point, I put in my fastest lap, a 1:43, I'm making ground. I'm adjusting. I'm light through turns 1, leading into turn 2, getting up back on throttle. I'm able to push pretty far into turns 4, leading up to turn 5. I still struggle, but you basically just want to coast through this, drop a gear or 2, following that apex and pushing through this straightaway. I struggle to find the breakpoint here, but usually just around the DHL sign is where I full brake, lean into the turn, getting back onto it, just coasting through 7. You can try to coast through 8, but you really want to get that speed cut off first, so that way you can hug the inside, pulling yourself as far as you can to get a good lean into turn 9. You want to carry that speed through 10. It does feel more of a curve, but as long as you hold that outside, you can coast through 11 and pretty much get on throttle through 12, carrying that all the way over. Same with the blue sign, the 100 sign is usually a good break point here, but you can push it further and further. And that is how I completed my fastest laps. What I started to notice was that in taking over the lead, I didn't realize how much I was mirroring the rider in front, and once I passed them, I started to lose the rhythm and quickly realized how much I still had to learn when it came to this track. The lead lap isn't always the most important part of racing. It's the part where you keep yourself calm, where you preserve energy for the final push. I started to notice being in the lead, I was getting on the throttle too fast. In doing so, losing traction, taking turns way too wide. I was truly being tested on this track, mentally and physically. My hands became tense. Overthinking started to creep in. I just couldn't get away from them. I was slow. Turn 8, I needed to lean earlier. Turns 9 and 10, I needed to hold the throttle longer. Turns 11 and 12, I do a pretty good job at. That is my fastest sections. I can usually pull away. That'll make up for any mistakes I have throughout the track. Completing lap 8 and realizing most turns, these other riders adjusted to my fastest times and are slowly perfecting each lap. My hardest and best isn't good enough. They were just soaring. Instead of mirroring, I was starting to panic. These riders just kept going and going, and I was falling back. I was falling through the pack, trying to figure out how I could make up ground, where I needed to make up ground, but I decided to push my hardest, and in doing so, pushed a little too hard into turn 6, going right into the sand. I didn't fall, but I lost a lot of places. Back in 12th, panic started to set in. I was being pushed to my absolute limit on this track. I'm thinking, how can I make up this time? Everything I've put in is a waste. What can I do? Luckily, there was a huge gap, and I knew that I was faster in turns 11 and 12, so as long as I stay with this pack, I should be able to make up ground. At least, that's what I think. Going into turn 1, I let off early. I want to get this good section, a good run into turn 2. But for some reason, getting on full brake causes my bike to wobble and I flick right off. There wasn't anything I could do but recover. Look at the map, see how far back the riders are behind me, how far ahead the riders are ahead of me. And at this point, tell myself, okay, I probably hurt my bike. Okay, I'm top 15. That's what my team requires of me. I just need to focus and complete what I can. Use what's left, and I will be okay. After falling and being left alone in the middle of the track, away from the riders, I thought to myself, I'm thankful. I'm alone out here, just me, the bike, no teams, no pressure. I was, however, defeated again, trying so hard and yet coming up short. But I'm not always hard on myself. I have to let myself know I did show up. I kept learning. I do have enough to complete this race. I walked through this race in my mind, took in every second, every sound, every shift in gear, every brake point, front and rear brakes. That's how I ride. That's how I grow. Through feel, through instinct. I managed to complete the expectations set out for me, even without upgrades. I hope you guys enjoyed this dogfight of a race as much as I did. This is Twilight Coast, where emotion meets emotion. And as always, thanks for being here. If you're feeling heavy, let the tide wash away your worries. See you next time. And until then, be kind to your mind.
To the Parc Fermé to meet today's stars, let's take a quick look at the final results of this Moto2 race.